Now that I am in the second half of my life, because yes, I have hit the point in my life where I believe I am now over the hill, I have really invested a lot of time and energy in better understanding how to age well and how to maintain my health, because I realize that health is wealth. And I want to talk with you guys about that in detail today, and I will share with you 5 things that I am actively doing in my life and the reasons why to help me maintain my health so that ultimately I can have a wealthier outcome in the end, because sickness is very costly. As a matter of fact, Americans with chronic disease spend approximately $2,200 more every year for medical care than their healthy neighbors. And as a whole, Americans suffering with obesity and metabolic syndrome, which are running rampant in our country, cost America $192 billion, that's right, with a B, billion dollars every year. That number to me is completely staggering, and it is a big area of concern. And I can tell you by looking at my own friends and families and loved ones, I can see the impacts of metabolic dysfunction. It's something that I am becoming more and more aware of, and I'm really optimistic that if we as a community, as we as a group of people come together and talk about what's working for us and what's manageable, then we will be able to turn that around. So just remember as you listen to these 5 tips, firstly, good health is good for your bank account. And secondly, good health is important for your quality of life. Quality of life is one of the things that as you grow wealthy, you start to prioritize more and more. It's about the experience of how you live your life. It's about the journey that you take and not so much the destination. So if you want to be happy, make sure that you are prioritizing health in your life. Item number 1 on my list is to drink at least 40 ounces of water a day. That is one of these. I have 2 different 40-ounce water bottles, and I have made it my goal to drink one of those every single day. I know if you read the studies, they will say, oh, you need 64 ounces or 91 ounces or 125 ounces of water a day. What I didn't realize for a very long time is that A, every person's a little bit different, but B, that quantity of water is inclusive of the fruits and the vegetables that you're eating. So if you are like me and you enjoy fruits, there's a good chance that much of the water that you need to take in every day is already as part of your food. Also, pay attention to what makes you feel good. I will tell you that I get random dizzy spells and I get fatigue whenever I drink less than 40 ounces of water a day. But if I drink 40 ounces, if I drink 60 ounces, if I drink 80 ounces, it doesn't really matter. So for me, the magic number is 40. And frankly, that's really easy for me to do because it's like, fill one of these in the morning and just make sure I've drank it by the end of the day. Item number 2 is that movement is medicine. We have all heard this before, so I know I am not surprising anyone with this, but what I will surprise you is to let you know that it does not need to be as much movement as we might think. We do not need to go from I am a couch potato to I am running a marathon and doing it every week for the rest of my life. It can be much, much simpler than that. So what my objective right now is 3 days of exercise a week, just 3 out of 7. That is enough for me to feel like I am maintaining myself. That could be a walk with a weighted vest. It could be just a really fast-paced walk. It could be a light jog. It could be weightlifting. It could be any one of those things. I just try to make sure that I am tracking that every single week I have exercised 3 times. Then, in addition to that, so this is the 3 exercises plus, I make sure that I try to get 6,500 steps a day. For a long time, there was this thing about you have to get 10,000 steps every day. You guys, that is not true. There have been some studies that have disproved that. The benefit really exists somewhere between the 6,000 to 8,000 steps a day. So having 10,000 steps a day is wonderful. And if you are already in that rhythm, by no means am I suggesting that you stop doing that. But for those of us that it's not realistic for us to get 10,000 steps a day, I barely squeak out 10,000 steps a day, even on the days that I take my walks. On the days that I don't take my walks, if I am not paying attention at all, I might get 3,500 steps a day. So my goal is just to double that. If I can be about 6,500, 7,000 steps a day, then I know that I am actually getting the health benefits from it. And it's manageable to me. It's not such a large goal that I just am like, screw it, and then I don't even try at all. And incidentally, a test to see whether or not you're in good physical standing is to sit on the ground and then get up into a standing position without using your hands at all. If you can do that, then you're in pretty good shape. If you can't do that, you need to get some work in. Item number 3 is to make sure that you're getting your annual checkups and your preventative care. It is so important for you to get that physical, get your blood work done, and make sure that for those of us who are at the age, we're getting our mammograms. One of the items that is really important is to make sure that you are regularly going to your dentist. We go every 6 months. The bacteria that causes gum disease can easily get into your blood system, and once it's in your blood system, it can move all around your body and cause all sorts of havoc. I personally know somebody who ended up dying because they had an infection in an abscessed tooth that ended up attacking their heart. It is a very tragic thing, and it is something that could have been mitigated by going to the dentist consistently and just taking care of those pesky issues when they happen, rather than letting them linger for too long and putting yourself in a dire circumstance. The 4th thing that I do consistently is I fast. There are a variety of ways to do fasting. I know a lot of people have introduced intermittent fasting into their life, and that is one that I think is really easy to do and really to work into almost any lifestyle. I personally like to do a 24-hour fast, maybe once a month. Sometimes I'll go as long as a 3-day fast. So I think that's a 72-hour fast. And my objective there is to permit my body to get into something called autophagy, which is where your cells start to have cellular regeneration. They start to repair themselves. And so much of the illness and chronic disease that we have in America today is really tied to inflammation in the body. So fasting reduces inflammation and it permits that cellular repair to happen. And then also it is tied to many of our illnesses or chronic illnesses are tied to metabolic dysfunction, which when you're fasting, it increases your insulin sensitivity, which is important. You want to be sensitive to insulin so that your body responds well to sugars when it's in the bloodstream. So fasting is a great mechanism. It's not that hard. I mean, saying no to yourself for 24 hours is totally manageable, and people have been doing it throughout history. So I take stock in the fact that I am doing something for my body that doesn't feel great in the throes of it, but is going to hopefully help me stay more youthful longer so that I can be the kind of grandmother for my future grandkids that I want to be. And then the 5th thing, and this I really think is the most important thing that we all need to do for our physical well-being, and that is learn how to communicate well. I know this seems really weird and not tied to physical well-being, but the truth is so much of what we go through in our lives that make us feel sick and unwell is going to be stress and anxiety, and those come from problems. And I heard a quote once, I think it's true, the more I reflect on it, the more it really resonates with me, is that every problem is a communication problem. That if you lived utterly alone and you had no one that you ever had to worry about what they thought of you, what they expected of you, what they wanted from you, or what you thought of them, or what you expected of them, or what you wanted from them, if all of that went away, all of our problems would go away. It would just be a matter of you taking care of you. Now, because we are relational beings and because we live in communities, it's so important for us to be able to arm ourselves with the tools to communicate well. We need to learn how to set good boundaries. We need to learn how to communicate what is reasonable to us. Honestly, it's not even that dramatic. It's what is reasonable to us. Let our yeses be yeses and our noes be noes. Don't say yes to things that you really want to say no to. Don't say no to things that you really want to say yes to. And absolutely, if something is utterly bothering you, speak it. Let the person know that is causing the problem or that is the impact, that could be impacted by the problem. Get that off your chest. And if you are not able to do that, then I would recommend finding a therapist or a coach who could equip you with the tools to have those conversations, because the ability to have those conversations will, again, improve your quality of life dramatically. And frankly, this is why I believe that institutions like marriage are so important, because when you make a commitment to somebody, you say for better or for worse, what you're really saying is, I'm going to stick by you, and I'm going to tell you the hard things that I need to say so that we can learn how to live and grow together for the rest of our lives. All right, guys, that is my list of 5 things. Those are the things that are having the greatest impact on my health today and improving my quality of life the absolute most. What about you? Do any of those resonate with you? Are you going to work on any of those things, all of those things? Let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear your stories. I will see you in the next video. Bye.